biggest bands in the world. And we're going to be really successful, and we're going to be wealthy. Well, as a fortune teller, I didn't do too badly. She left 2 years later. I spent about 15 years barely being able to pay my phone bills. And of course, the band ended up selling 100+ million albums, selling out arenas and stadiums throughout the world, multiple Grammy Award winners, voted best live band, which is what we're here to talk about, in the world many times by the trade. And today it's my distinct honor to announce that Genesis are back coming to America with the Turn It On Again tour. It will begin... It will begin September the 7th in my former hometown of Toronto. You can see the list over there. 13 shows that we're announcing today wind its way through America, finally hit New York at Giant Stadium on September 27th, and wrap up at the famous Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles on October the 12th. Tickets for Montreal and Philadelphia will begin, ticket sales will begin on Saturday, and then come Monday we hit with a boatload for Boston, Chicago, Hartford, Toronto, and New York. I think at this time I'd like to introduce a short film that'll give you a little bit of a tingle about Genesis, what they were and what they are now. And now, please welcome Genesis.
Good morning.
We're going to do some pictures first, and then we're going to ask the photographers to please refrain from flashing while we do questions.
In the middle, aren't you? I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle again.
Okay, guys, right over here, please. Right down here. This way, Phil, everybody.
Crazy horses.
Straight on. Straight down here. Guys.
I feel like we should be doing something else.
Good as we get.
Everybody in front, please sit down.
Gentlemen over on this side, please. Straight on. Straight on. We got right here, guys, over here. Over this side. Bill.
Yes.
You got a little model before?
Yeah.
Pout, baby, pout.
You got us in focus.
To your left, everybody to your left. Gentlemen, this way.
Straight ahead, straight ahead.
This is good for your eyes, I think.
Okay, they're now blind. Please sit down.
One must come out.
Okay. First question.
No, I want more.
We have will you please state your name and publication?
I am going to start with an obvious question. At what point did you guys decide to get back together after 15 years? And also, will you be playing your solo material as well on tour?
Take your time. No, every time we've met over the years. And I think just the time has come, you know, Phil has been very busy recently, but a window doing things. And it's very interesting, comes and goes.
That's how the tour's going to say.
Remember that? Not for anybody on this, so we've got too much Genesis material as it is, and set to reasonable lengths.
Do you want to get the microphones working, yeah?
I can't help it. It's not my fault, honest.
Let's do a mic test, yeah? Check, this one's working.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
this one
is
work?
this on?
Nothing I said was worth hearing anyhow.
Oh, it was. Oh, but it was. Shall we use this one then? Yeah, because it's...
Hello. Ah, you can. All right, we're going to hand this one over.
We're not going to do any solo material. We're not going to do any solo material. And for the reasons that he mentioned, which for those that didn't hear is that we got enough material to... We argue about what we're going to play out of the Genesis material without putting in the solo material in the hat. But... and in terms of why, if you didn't hear what he said, why now? I'm his interpreter. We're still great friends, you know, and we've been great friends since I left the band. I mean, we didn't kind of not work together for any other reason other than the fact that there was other things to do. And we've talked about it all the time, every time we've met to do something. And now it's just so what, you know, good a time as...
Hello? Oh, this one seems to work. Hi, my name's Randy Cohen. I'm with The Hollywood Reporter. I'm not noticing any presence of a corporate sponsorship. Have you decided to forego that for any reason, or is it just not present anywhere?
I knew we'd...
Is this going to work or not? Is this guy doing our... Who's doing our sound on the tour?
Yep.
Right.
Are we on?
Fucking get it together. Hello, hello, hello. It shouldn't be that hard to... Sound there.
This one works.
This one we know works. Who wants to take it?
Nothing wrong with an old lead. Sorry, I've forgotten. Corporate sponsor. I knew we'd forgotten something. No, there isn't one. I think the other thing, it often presents sort of problems with sponsors. You've got to go and do meet and greets and stuff like that. I'm making friends here, aren't I? No, there isn't. No, I don't think so. I'm not sure. Is it very popular these days anyway? I sort of feel it's sort of been and gone a bit.
but I'm just wondering if there was a reason.
It could be just no one would have us. No, but I think it's fine for us, definitely.
Thank you. Hi, Sal Cirencioni from Premier Radio Networks, right over here. Hey, Phil, when we spoke in November at the theater, when you were doing that Grammy in the School thing for Tarzan, you said to me, and then you actually said it 2 days later in London, that this is not a tour.
That's right.
So, obviously, it says it's a tour. I just was wondering if you're still sticking to your line of thinking on why you feel it's not a tour.
Well, you don't want to believe everything I say. No, of course it's called a tour because a series of shows is too ornate. I just sort of feel I have stopped touring for various reasons, and although I did say it every time I played a concert, that was the last time I visited a particular city, that I did reserve the right to come out and do special things, and I didn't really want to be a lid put on my coffin quite yet. So, frankly, this is something very special, and it's a series of shows. Believe me, if we wanted to, I've said this before as well, if we wanted to go out there and do 60, 80 shows, I'm sure we could do, and we've had a certain amount of pressure from certain people that we should maybe add shows, but I think to keep it contained, for me, for all of us, I think, feels the right thing to do. We go out there and we do 20 shows in Europe, 22 shows in Europe, and we come to the States and Canada and do 20-odd shows. And it feels like something special rather than reforming, going back on the road and just hammering away at it. This is something very special. So that's my reason for doing it.
I've got another one. You've got mics everywhere.
Matthew Owen from WNK Philadelphia. Any special surprises on the tour by chance?
Musical surprise?
Musical, guests?
Go on. Don't worry about it.
I knew it wouldn't work because it going to. Well, the main answer to your question is probably no. No guests anticipated. I dare say, things might happen, but there's no surprises in that nature. Hopefully, with the choice of songs in the set, there will be one or two songs that, will go back a bit further than we've done in the past. And obviously, it's going to mainly be, songs from which we did on the last couple of tours, but we want to make certain there's a good dose of other things. And also with some of the medleys, we'll introduce a few surprises so it doesn't become too predictable. But we do have just so many songs to choose from,
No, at the moment there's nothing planned for anything new material, but I think we seem to avoid making the big plan. We'll do the shows and sort of see what happens, really, I think. The idea of writing together is always quite appealing, but then getting on maybe the album bandwagon is a whole different road. But we'll see. And any particular songs, I think nothing... I'm trying to think of any song special. I think, funny enough, the old medleys, actually, which has always been something we've had to do, I feel this time round will feel a bit, maybe because of the break, and for me, having two drummers again playing, something I've kind of missed without doing Genesis, Chester and Phil, is a great sound, racket, whatever you want to call it. It's a very powerful sound, and I think on this tour we're going to try and do a little more of that than we have in the past, I think, because it's sort of something which is quite unique to us, what we do, I think.
It's discussion, really. I was joking. We've just been. As Tony said, there are some songs that you have to play because the audience would feel a bit cheated if they went home not having heard them. but we are very aware that we don't want to go out there and just do the same kind of set as we did last time or the time before that. So, it's been interesting going back and just seeing rediscovering bits that you'd forgotten about or putting them in a different place, which makes them appear different, sets them up differently, I mean, we rehearsed here for a couple of weeks in October in New York, just really to sort of see what it felt like, frankly. And we had a great time, and we played through everything that we thought we might play, and we've since come up with some other ideas. But, we do very little arguing. We did far more arguing 30 years ago than we do now.
Plenty of time.
Performed on stage with the Genesis cover band, the Musical Box. I'm wondering if you can talk about that experience and if that rekindled your interest in the band and perhaps played a role in motivating you to take part in the reunion.
Yeah, I did. I was invited by them because they came through Geneva, Switzerland, and at that time, we've been talking. We had an opportunity to clear something up actually, because we've been talking about this for a long time, doing something. And originally, I think it came up about doing The Lamb, which of course Musical Box did in its entirety a couple of years ago. And the idea of doing The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway with Peter, with Steve, and we kind of finally got together a couple of years ago in Scotland, where I was on tour, and we kind of thought that we discussed it, 5 of us in the room, and it didn't look like Peter could commit himself at that point because he had an album to finish and then a tour to go with that album, which is still not out. So as Steve and Pete left the room, we kind of looked at each other and said, well, do you fancy doing this? And it was all so easy, so we're doing this. But I don't want it to appear like, as it has been appearing, that it's a party that we're holding that Peter didn't come to. This is a separate thing. That Lamb thing may happen in a few years' time. It's not a no, it's not a yes. But anyway, going to see the Musical Box playing The Lamb was a bit of a revelation because there was things there that, they play it very, very well, but I hadn't even remembered that I played like that or even the pieces of music that they were playing. And I really should have gone into training for it because I was a big disappointment to them. I think, I kept dropping sticks. I wasn't match fit at all. But it was an interesting experience and one I'm not going to repeat at all.
Michael Falukin with the Genesis discography website or fan site. First, just from the fans, for myself, who was a fan of 30 years, I want to thank the 3 of you for getting yourselves back together. I know I speak for a lot of fans. We very much appreciate it. Beyond just ticket sales, as seeing you as artists getting together really does make a lot of people excited again. But my question is really a follow-up to the question that was asked, 2 questions that were asked in November to Tony and Phil. With respect to the new website that you're just launched this week, there's going to be a new fan club on there. There's talk about various goodies coming out to the fans on that website. Have you revisited the idea of an encore series of this tour from the CDs that come out of each of the shows? That might be something that comes out as new material. And have you reconsidered? There are some people who are still holding their breath. Have you reconsidered looking at those archives and maybe having those come out as part of that new fan club and website presence?
Hello. I'm promised this one works, so I'm relying on it. There is talk of recording every show, with the possibility of that coming out, a sort of board mix, which I know people like. I don't, kind of must be kind of same even from night to night. But in terms of other stuff, I mean, it's still there as a possibility to do. You're talking about the old gigs from years and years ago, which exist on cassette mainly. And we've still got quite a few of them left, although must admit, I did rub over quite a few back in the old days. But, and I think they could be quite fun. You listen to them, because sometimes there were songs we did on some of those gigs and tours that we never did, which never got onto the live albums and stuff. So they'd be quite fun. So it is something I know the fans would like, and it is something, I promise, that is in the back of our minds. But we've got probably enough coming in this particular year not to think about that just at the moment.
do what, sorry?
You've been a part of the band for so long. When those guys put up Calling All Stations,
Yeah.
what was it like for you? Did it feel almost like just strange, the whole thing, not being a part of it after some of the album?
Yeah, I was given a copy of it before it came out because I was keen to hear it, and I had it. I used to circle it, walk around it, waiting for the right time to listen to it because it was one of those things where I know how it was probably what the studio's like, how it, how we work, how with Ray they probably work the same kind of way, and I put it on one night, and I must admit I liked an awful lot of it. I didn't feel strange. I'd like to have seen the band live, and actually I was due to go to see them in Lyon, but I was given a birthday present of a weekend motor racing course, which I couldn't really get out of. So I didn't actually get a chance to see the band. That would have been an interesting experience to see those songs from sitting in the audience. It's like one of those funny dreams you have. But I was just pleased that the band carried on, and actually I feel a little bit annoyed that in this day and age that we live in, everything has to happen just like this. And we had the luxury of actually things seeping in gradually when we were starting, and times have changed, and of course people didn't give it as much time and patience as maybe it needed to have been given. So, but anyway, there you go. Water under the bridge.
Yes, hi, good day. My name is Frank Mitchell. I'm with GenesisNews.com. I'd like to welcome you guys back to New York. Was wondering if you guys could elaborate on the set design, or kind of the production, how the show was going to look.
It's going to look fabulous. I think this is something we all quite enjoy. I think Genesis music lends itself definitely to kind of visual interpretation. It has in the past. And what's quite interesting is that the last time we were out, the three of us, on the We Can't Dance tour, the kind of screen concept was actually just starting off. So in a sense, it was quite uphill to make the damn thing work. Whereas now, it's really quite user-friendly. And so we've got Mark Fisher and Patrick Woodruff. They've designed, I think, a great set. I think we haven't sort of seen it in action yet, but I think visually it should look, hopefully, very striking and different too, I think. And all done in the best possible taste.
What a free show in Rome. No, you go ahead, old boy.
Well, I don't know why I'm taking this one, because there's not too much to say. Yes, we're doing a free show in Rome. I think the feeling was that it was a good place to do one. Originally we were going to play in front of the Colosseum, but in fact we couldn't do that. We were too big, apparently, couldn't fit there. So we're now in the Circus Maximus. So we're big, and that's big enough for us. I think Italians actually, we used to have a problem in the past that they used to sometimes, break the doors down to get into shows because they didn't like to pay to get in. So there seems to be a way around that particular problem. We let them in for free. And I know that the people in the States are much too well behaved to do that, so you don't need one here.
Mark D'Agostino with People. How much drumming have you been doing in recent years? And are you excited to get up behind the kit and play with Chester again and get back in?
Yeah. Well, I haven't been playing enough. And that was quite painfully obvious when I did 2 weeks rehearsing here last October. It used to be that I used to love the drumming and hate the singing, and now I love the singing and hate the drumming. It just needs, you need to do it, I actually did a lot of drumming on my, a lot, but I certainly did a fair amount on my solo tour, last tour. And we fall back into it, you just got to get fit with that, with that in mind. And but there will be some double drum stuff, quite a lot of it. Because as Mike said, it's something that we take for granted, but actually not many people do it anymore. And it's just a great thing. And Chester and I have been playing together for like 30 years now. And there is a lot of things that go unsaid, that we just, So it's going to be great fun. I can't wait. But I do need to practice.
me. This is Lucy Taus from ABC Radio. Are there any plans to play Al Gore's Live Earth, multi-continent extravaganza?
How did you describe it again? Yeah, no. It's just the word extravaganza. Well, funnily, there's been a conversation about doing something maybe in the London show, but we have a show that night anyway, so it's just a conversation. I think it's a look-see, so who knows? We'll see. Yeah. No, I mean, it's in the air somewhere.
Hi, it's are you done? It's Dan near XM Satellite. You guys are doing the box sets coming out, and there's surround sound mixes and all that. You mentioned that the technology has improved so much to make things easier and reveal things. Did you guys actually get very hands-on with the remixes, and did you find that the new technology brought to light new things from the material?
This is a Tony question. If you like the box set, it's all down to him.
I've been working quite closely with on this project. It's been the most important person has been Nick Davis, who's been our engineer-producer of the last 2 or 3 Genesis albums. But and he's been doing all the songs, and I've been coming in on every song to sort of to talk about it and things, to give the band's perspective on it. And the main difference is the fact that you've got the time. When we're doing all the albums in the end in 5.1. If you go back into the early days, we were doing the albums very quickly, and you really mixed. Really, once you got it halfway right, that was what you got, and you stuck with it. There was nothing you could do about it, really. So you can improve those early ones a great deal. And the other thing is that the sound quality of some of the studios we used in those early days, particularly the middle period, in fact, I think very noticeable on Wyndham Wuthering and Duke, just really wasn't up to it. And you can now go back into a decent studio, decent sound, and you can improve it a great deal. The whole point about the 5.1s, we've done redone all the stereos as well. So they're all new stereos. But the idea is that they don't sound sort of, instantly very different to any of the originals at all. They just sound a lot better. Anyone who knows the things well will hear differences, but not hopefully they won't be sort of painful ones, And in 5.1, it's just some of the things, you can just place everything. We used to often sort of lay so many things onto one track, and you can separate them all out, and they do sound really nice. And I think, particularly those albums, I think Wyndham Wuthering and Duke are the ones of this batch that seem to come alive the most.
Hi, Laura Downhour from Westwood One. What does it mean to you to reunite for a tour after all these years and still have the fan base to make it worthwhile?
Well, it's very rewarding to know that there's still people out there that actually that liked us the first time round and get another opportunity to sort of see us. But there's a lot of people that I've met. I think we've all kind of rubbed shoulders with the people that kind of said, "That's great because I was too young to see you the first time," and it just gives another opportunity to sort of see a good live band. I mean, that is something that we are, a good live band. I did something in Las Vegas, a charity thing, and John Mayer. He came in to say hello. He was on the bill as well. And he came in and said, "I heard you guys are going out again." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, man, that's fantastic." Because I was just like 8 or something when you guys last toured. And, it's people like that sort of, and of course, people that aren't musicians as well. But it's just that they've heard it through their families. Their mums and dads played it in the house, so the kids grow up with it. And but they never saw us because maybe, 15 years ago, that was that. So it's great to sort of know that there's people that still want to do it because we're all doing it for the love of it. We're not doing it for the money. Let's face it. Otherwise, we would be doing those 60 shows that I mentioned.
Hi, Randy again from Hollywood Reporter. Hello. First, if I may confirm, this may be more of a Michael question, but your top level prices on the tickets are $150?
No idea.
No idea. $225, which is reasonable compared to some other recent announcements that have come out from bands who haven't toured in a long time. Have you, is that so important to you to keep it at a reasonable level? I mean, you probably could be doing it for $300 or $400 for...
Yeah, I have no concept of what things cost, actually. I mean, tickets,
Right.
No, I mean, I'm serious. I go to the theatre. I'm amazed at how much it costs to get a theatre ticket. I mean, when I used to go to the theatre in London, it costs about $10, you know. And now it's $100 and something. I just don't understand why it's all got so expensive. But we have always, you know, and of course sponsorship has somewhat helped keep ticket prices down somewhat. But, you know, we didn't want that on this tour. And we've always made it this sort of noise is the fact that we just don't want to charge. We want whatever is the going rate. You know, I mean, we don't want to charge as much as other people because we feel that is a little bit over the top. But you know, it's an expensive thing to put on, and as I say, you know, we're not looking to come out of this with a fistful of dollars. So it's just trying to sort of make the whole thing work, really.
Should we? I don't think so. I mean, I think in some respects you're right. I think Genesis sit in a sort of funny place in the history books. It's kind of outside some of the sort of mainstream things. We're not quite Yes, and we're not sort of a pop band. So, but I think in terms of things to prove, I think in a sense in America, especially, you know, I just feel live. We always had a great rapport with the audiences. You know, for years we were kind of a bigger live band than we were a record band. And I kind of think, hopefully, the feeling on this tour is to be able to reconnect with those towns. I mean, we go back a long, long way in all those sort of cities all around the States. And Canada. My manager. Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry, North America. But I think this whole concept of what we're doing, it has to be for us something that's really fun to do, and I hope it's going to be like that.
I think you're good. Thank you very, very much. One more photo. Thank you.